What's up, YouTube? Today we are going to be working on the Project Accord. Now this is a flip project, so this isn't like the Supra project. Now we're going to do the Accord so that we can afford to start working on the Supra. Today we're going to be figuring out exactly what we need to do to get this thing ready to flip. The car is not in rough shape, but not in fantastic shape. For the most part, the body lines look good, except for on the side skirts, and of course where it was hit on the driver's side. Now we are going to go ahead, we're going to get a different door because there's no repairing that. We're going to get a different fender, but we're going to take the wheel off and we're going to see what the condition of everything is underneath there. I know we have some brake issues, so we're going to go ahead and check the brake lines and just general state of the paint. Now the bumper itself is actually in really good shape. We have a bumper lip here, which looks like we could probably get it right off and get a replacement one. I don't know much about this particular year, but I don't know if this is stock or not. The other thing is you can see where it's got some scratches in the paint and where it bumped into something. I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but it's definitely pushed that in. You can see where it's creased the paint. I don't know to what extent we're going to repair that, if we're going to repaint the whole bumper, because there is some rock chips. There are some rock chips in the hood itself, but 90% of the scratches I can't hang my fingernail on, so they may just buff out. This fender kind of goes the same line, except for we do have some clear coat chipping, just from it looks like being sun-baked. This side, it looks like it's mostly dirt, but we have some cracks in the paint. It looks like something rubbed up against it. Of course, I'm going to get rid of the pinstriping. But as you go through here, the flat surface has definitely been baked. The body lines look good. But unfortunately, the actual flat top of the car, you can really see the paint has definitely worn on it. So, especially the top. The top has no rust, but it does have some either hail damage or that's definitely not hail damage. I don't know what that is, but I almost think you can see that in there. So there's some little dings and dents, and we want to get this thing to be pretty close to perfect as far as paint. There's one right in the body line. So there's going to be some Bondo in this vehicle. There's going to be some where we can just take the liner out and tap it back, like this dent right here. We'll try to get this dent as close to the way it's supposed to, the body line's supposed to be without using Bondo. I'm not the biggest fan of Bondo. I don't want to say it's like cheating, but it's kind of like cheating. The other thing is we have some issues with the side skirts. As far as the doors go, this door right here, we're gonna have to take the interior off of it so that we can replace the mechanism that holds the window up, and there's a little bit of crunchy, so we're going to figure out what's going on with that, if we can repair that with resin. And I'm really surprised that this tier wouldn't have come with leather seats, but the next thing, of course, is we're going to see if we can salvage the carpets and everything in here. But it definitely needs a clean, and it's still, I really think it's probably all of these air fresheners. I took some of them out. There was like a dozen air fresheners, and I wouldn't really say that the method of making your car smell better is kind of like the Dr. Pepper method, where you have 32 flavors. 32 smells is not a good thing at all. So whomever owned this, if their name is Amanda, please don't put so many in there. Why? For the love of God. It's like a dry heave when you go into those. 32 flavors of smell. As far as the trunk goes, I mean, the tail lights look great. We're not going to have to repair those. As far as the trunk goes, it is quite the mess. It's concerning when you have power steering fluid. I already know the brake issue because this thing is terrifying. I don't know, maybe they have, I didn't even look at the lugs, see if they were locking lugs. Let's see what else we have. Ink rollers. I don't know what the hell that is. Wheel bore size. What the hell are these things? That's concerning. Let's see. We have some of the tools remaining from factory. Is the okay? The lift is still in here. Cool. There's a, I don't know what the hell that's for. That's another concerning thing. What's up with that? We have a pull thing in case you get locked in here. I don't know what the hell that one was. I don't know if that's the same thing. We have another one of these disconnected. Huh. Alright, underneath here, we do have a spare, which is totally flat. So if you were to break down, this thing would be totally useless. I mean, it's not even on the rim. So, and the hood just came down and hit me in the head. So, oh, this is going to be a fun car already. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start pulling apart the fender and look at the suspension. We might have to pull the bumper off as well. Oh, and there's not going to be Bondo. Well, maybe. Let's see. I mean, we might be able to repair this. It's pretty rough. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to have to see if, I don't know what we're going to do about that. So I don't want to send it down the road with it, you know, less than really good. But yeah, this right here is going to be a fun one. I don't know what we're going to do with that. I don't know if it's going to be a cutout, weld, and try to get the body line right as it was, or what. Oh, and tires are no good. I don't know why. They look like they were fine, but I mean, I'm very lucky they got back here without going flat, so it was just on a dolly. As far as the interior goes, it just, you know, needs a severe clean. Once again, we're gonna have to see if we can't repair that. See if we can't get new skirts for this. Let's see, there's also bits and pieces of something, I don't know what, but I mean, other than the fact that it's dirty, how do I, oh, okay, up here. Other than it's dirty, I don't really see anything wrong with the interior. I don't know what's going on back here. I don't know if those were lights. That needs new speaker covers. And it looks like you have to unlock the back seats. Okay, that's interesting. There's cloths in there. That's my ozone machine. That did not come with this, obviously, because they did not do a good job keep this thing from smelling. And then of course there's just a couple parts that are hanging. Just the ceiling looks all right. Maybe a little bit of clean in there, but anyways, now without further ado, let's start pulling apart and take a look at the suspension components. So the most important part about working a car. Cut. So the most important part about working on a vehicle in your driveway, especially if you have gravel driveway, is to not only put jack stands underneath it, but go ahead and put like I have a couple old plate weights that I put underneath it, and then they sit perfectly. Another good option is old brake rotors. They fit right over it. It gives you a nice base so that they don't sink in and the whole car becomes unstable. I still generally leave my jacks underneath it, but I just don't rely on them. It's not a good idea. The other important part is to put them back where you'll remember where they are, instead of just kind of somewhere in your garage. I don't know that from personal experience. I know what you're talking about. Anyways, so now that we have it up, we're going to go ahead and remove this wheel. It definitely does have some interesting things going for it. I don't quite know what that is, but maybe that's the locking lug. So we're going to go ahead and take the wheel off and check on the suspension, make sure that it's not damaged by, I mean, it doesn't have any give, which is good, but let's make sure that there's no damage to the vehicle. from whatever impact this was. And it does look like it was a pretty hard impact. I'm actually really surprised that there's no play in it. The rims do have a little bit of good old-fashioned curb rash, which I don't know what we're going to do about this. It's not supposed to be a perfect car. It's supposed to be a really good car for the next owner. So we don't want to go way in over the vehicle just to you know, break even. So it is a flip car, but don't send something down the road that is not safe. So we'll get this off, check everything out, take the fender off. We're going to leave the door on because we're just going to replace the door anyways, and we're just going to make sure there's no damage to any of the frame, which it shouldn't be. Doesn't look like it. But anyways, back to it. All right, so kind of an update on trying to figure out where the locking lug corresponding part is. This is a security lug. It doesn't fit it, so it doesn't even slide over, so I can't even hammer down there. This right here, which I found in the bag and it's in real rough shape, barely fits these. Doesn't fit that and doesn't fit the security lug. The tool that you use for removing the lugs from the trunk doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit, doesn't fit. Only fits one of the 5, which that's cool. The wheels are actually worn evenly, which they need to be replaced. The tires are no good. But interestingly enough, while I was going through this, I did find last year it had the serpentine belt replaced, removed, and replaced the front sway bar frame bushings, rear sway bar frame bushings as well. It had an alignment, it had a safety inspection that passed without any issues, and they removed and replaced the engine, the front engine mount, as well as the rear. So this actually had quite a bit of maintenance done not too long ago. And then just days before this was brought to Copart, which is kind of crazy, it had a full service done, including changing the transmission fluid and everything. So we're kind of ahead of the game. So it's nice to find receipts for stuff like that in the vehicle. Although it's not nice that I couldn't find a security equivalent to that lug. So we're going to have to sacrifice a tool to get it off. So without further ado, I'm going to find something that I can hammer onto that and get that off. We're finished taking these off and check the condition of the caliper, rotors, brakes, and all that fun stuff, and then all the bits and pieces. But as I said, I mean, it's for taking a hit. The bushings aren't even bad, so I am pretty excited. We're actually going to get away with this pretty unscathed. So without further ado, again, I'm talking a lot, but I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the vehicle. So it's what it is. So I was able to get those off, but I was unable to get the security one off, and I don't quite know what I'm going to do now. I can't even knock one of I don't know. I think it's going to go back to see if I can't find the appropriate one in the vehicle, but I don't have a lot of faith in that. Alright, back to it. Alright, I did find it underneath the spare tire, and it's in pretty rough shape, but at least we have it. So we're going to finish taking that tire off, examine everything underneath it, and hopefully we can just put it back on, and it's a matter of putting new brakes, and hopefully. There's a lot of hopefullys there. Alright, now that we have that off, we can now see that, of course, it is gaining rust, but that's because we're not driving it and it's just sitting here. And it's sat here for a couple weeks now, several weeks now. Probably sat at the Copart dealership lot for a couple weeks. And as far as I can really see, the front brake pad looks fine. The rear brake I mean, the rotor looks like it's really, it's hard to tell from what you can see. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's definitely been driven without a good pad on it. So I think because we're going to send this down the road to somebody, and I don't want them to be stuck with, you know, the problem of a shitty rotor and brakes and everything like that, we're going to go ahead and replace the calipers and the rotors. The calipers, we'll see if they're in good shape, but most likely, based off of what I'm seeing, they could probably do for a replacement, and the pads. So we're going to go ahead and put all new brakes on the vehicle, because, you know, it's good to make sure that we're not giving someone else another problem. The struts look old. I don't really know if they're in need of replacement per se. There's a daddy long leg right there. I don't know if you can see him, but other than that, there's just a couple things that need to be addressed underneath here. The bushings look good. There's no play in any of the arms. How's the ball joint looks good. I don't see any tears or anything. There's a lot of spider webs. I think we're in pretty good shape underneath here. So even though it got hit pretty hard, I mean, there's no play, there's no movement, side to side, forward, backwards, nothing. So yeah. Next, of course, we're gonna have to go ahead and take the wheel well out, which it looks like someone was already starting to do that. We'll take the wheel well out, take the fender off, and hopefully we won't have to take the bumper off. It looks like I can get to at least one of the bolts right here. So see what else we can do without having to take the bumper off. And we're gonna go ahead and take this side, or front lip here. We're gonna go ahead and take that right off. All right, back to it. All right, now that we have the fender off, unfortunately the camera died, so you won't see the bolts coming out, but it's pretty straightforward. There's two directly underneath the headlight. There's one right here where you can see this bracket. There's one, actually it's a 8mm Phillips. I end up having to cut it. The clip is actually plastic, and all it was doing was spinning. And I couldn't get any pliers on it, so you have a bolt here, one right below the strut, one right in front of the hinge, one on the top right here you have to open the door to get to, and one where I actually just push this side skirt down, which actually leads me to the question: are those side skirts actually aftermarket, or are those original? Because if you, I don't know if you could see it, I'll move it back a little bit, but take you off the tripod. There we go. The bumper actually looks like it's originally supposed to be without it. I don't know if this is just the trim package that put that on there, but I know I think it's a 2001 or 2002 bumper I might actually replace this one with, and it's all one piece and it is a lot more spiffy. But let me know if these side skirts and everything are aftermarket, because they both need to be replaced. The rear rear lip is fine, but the front lip's no good. I don't want it to look like a mismatch of parts. There we go. Put you back inside here. There we go. Anyways, so the fender came off really nice. There is a dent in the side skirt right here. I'm going to try taking that out. It's not in a crunch zone, so not worried about it. So the actual damage itself, as you can tell, the side skirt in here, or side skirt, or whatever you want to call it, there's no deformation whatsoever. There is a minor dent right here, but it's outside the crunch zones. So all I'm gonna do is, right now what I did was I hit it with a wire brush and I sprayed it so it doesn't rust further, at least it shouldn't. And then what I'm gonna do is put a slide hammer on here and see if I can't pull this back out the way it was. So I can't get a hammer up behind there, I don't believe. I might be able to stick something through here, maybe through here, and try pushing it back out. But I think a slide hammer is going to be the way we're going to go, or maybe put a bolt in there and a come along. But it's really, I might even just, I'll see if I can't have one of my body guys come up here and take a quick look at it. See if he thinks it's going to cause any issues down the road or if it's fine the way it is. But I definitely cleaned it up and sprayed it so it doesn't get rusted. It's possibly going to rain. Actually, it looks like it might be raining shortly. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about the bumper. If I can find a 2002 and get the solid bumper, it is a better looking bumper. As far as I know, it will actually fit the same way. And also big question is, what should we do with this? A little poll down below. Should I clear coat it and then repolish it so it looks like OEM stock headlights? Or should I put a little bit of black paint, spray it, and have it so that it's tinted? You know, let me know. So until the next time, remember, like the video, subscribe, and hit that little bell notification. The subscription and bell notification is very important for what's coming up. It's about 2 months worth of work, and I'm partnering with one company. So just keep an eye out for this. And until the next episode, have a good one. What are you guys still doing here? Don't you have something to do? I'm just kidding. If you stuck around, thanks. What I just did right there is not a permanent fix. It's just because, you know, it is possibly going to rain tomorrow. I went ahead and sprayed it so it just doesn't get more rust. I went ahead and tried doing as best I could. So it's not a permanent fix. We will go ahead and pull that part back out. And I guess that was a little extra for you guys. Until the next time, take care.